Shift in how the courts handle domestic violence, especially for those survivors of it who defend themselves and find themselves behind bars. A Katie Moore investigation dug deep into that issue in 2018 when she brought us the story of Laura Eugene, a St. John Parish woman serving life for killing her abusive partner. Well, turns out Katie's story and the doors it opened would change Laura's life forever.
My whole world came crashing down.
Well, they were fighting over him seeing another woman, and she had admitted that.
They would start beating on him. So I'm hearing the walls like boom, boom, like.
Laura Eugene and David Fluence got into a fight. It was the latest of many, and it would be their last. It ended with a broomstick broken on the floor. Laura said David hit her with it, and the coffee table in pieces in the living room.
I was trying to protect myself at the time. He tore me down the coffee table, choked me, so I couldn't barely breathe. And I went and got a knife, and I stabbed Mr. Fluence.
It's something that I try not to think about, but it's inevitable.
Davana Eugene's mother had stabbed her father. We first told you about the Eugenes almost 5 years ago in 2018. The Louisiana Supreme Court had ruled that abuse survivors who kill their partners have a right for the jury to hear from experts about the impact that abuse has on their decision-making. That didn't happen in Laura's case. The jury that convicted her was also not unanimous, and both of those things are now required for a fair trial and conviction.
You know, if someone has been beaten for 5 years, like Miss Eugene was, and they've been facing that basically domestic terror for a large part of their lives, the trials will still often focus on, well, do you know that he was going to kill her right in that moment?
Stas Moroz and Becky Kandkar are two of Laura's attorneys with Tulane Law School. They are not the original lawyers who handled her trial or appeal. They signed on to help Laura more than a decade later.
Why did you take her case?
Well, Katie, you actually insisted that that I take a look at this case and wanted my expert opinion about the case.
Kandkar heads up Tulane's domestic violence clinic, and at that time was co-founding the Women's Prison Project to help women who were serving long sentences in prison.
Really, we started with your list.
My list. Laura and 20 other women who argued they killed their abusive partners in self-defense, but they were convicted anyway. To identify them, I used court records, media accounts, and I relied on experts like Kandkar to analyze the cases of 139 women who were serving life sentences in Louisiana prisons.
The more we've done the work, the more we discover the need.
Laura's best hope was clemency from Governor John Bel Edwards. The Board of Pardons and Parole recommended Laura for clemency after a hearing in July of 2018. That's around the time we first met the Eugenes, when they were trapped in a painful purgatory, waiting to see if the governor would grant her clemency.
Do you think that she feels sorry for it?
Yes. Yes, she said it a lot, like, I'm so sorry I got myself in a situation. And nobody knows how it feels to listen to your mama suffer.
Edwards' sweeping criminal justice reforms allowed her attorneys to request a parole hearing just 5 months later.
My name is Laura Eugene. My DOC number is 464-656.
On December 13th, 2022, Laura made her case to the parole board.
But I am truly, truly, deeply sorry for my action. And you have a right that I do deserve time, but also I change. I'm not that person any longer. I'm totally different. I learned a lot of things incarcerated.
Davana spoke for her mom, her voice stifled with emotion.
I hope that it will be the beginning of the end of a very long, painful, and traumatizing journey of only having a relationship with my mother.
David Fluence's family spoke out against it. His family is also Devana's. This is a parole board recording of her grandfather, Thomas.
But we never was after life. I'm not after life right now. But I would love to see her and like to see her spending those 30 years. And my son, he won't return. 30 years versus a lifetime in the ground.
Devana has lived her life torn.
When I was a little girl, I would have dreams that my mom was home with my brothers and I.
It wasn't out of a place of, hatred or anger towards her father. It was really just out of a place of love and understanding, everything her mom went through. And so the parole board ended up granting parole to Ms. Eugene.
There is documented evidence of domestic violence in the state. And I don't know what any of us would do if we were living in that situation.
I'm voting you today. My vote is to grant you parole for all the reasons that have been stated. We wish you well. Good luck.
Oh my God. Oh my God, it can't be happening. I had dreams of being at the gate when she was walking out. I just felt like a big weight was just lifting off of my shoulders.
And there they were, Devana and her brothers and sisters, tears flowing before their mom even made her way out of the prison gates for the first time in 20 years.
Oh, there she goes. Yeah, she's coming out. It felt like a dream come true.
This is not the end of Laura Eugene's story. It's just the beginning, and there are others still serving time for convictions that today would not stand. Katie Moore, Eyewitness News.
And tomorrow night at 10, Katie brings us a closer look at the work the Women's Prison Project is doing to change the way domestic abuse survivors are treated in Louisiana. And we will meet another woman who they helped free along the way.